Does your mom work for my company by any chance? I thought I saw her in the bathroom today.
Yeah, I guess you can say she works there.
I knew it.
Oh, you didn't know all along?
How could I? I don't know anything about a janitor.
A janitor?
I mean, she's wearing work clothes and scrubbing toilets. I would never be able to do that kind of work that a bottom feeder would do.
A janitor is a great job, and you are able to spend your time in a clean company because there are people who do it. You shouldn't be prejudiced against the profession.
Huh? I don't need you to lecture me. Your husband is a plain old office worker.
What my husband does doesn't matter here.
It does matter. A wife's status is determined by her husband's occupation. In other words, I'm better than you because my husband is the president of the company. If you're so frustrated, why doesn't your husband become a president too? I'm sure he won't be able to, though.
If that's just me, it's fine, but can you stop making fun of my family?
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just telling you the truth. What's wrong with calling poor people poor?
Poor? Are you talking about me?
Of course I am. Your husband is an office worker, and your mother is a janitor. Your family is poor. No, maybe not poor, but super poor.
I think you should stop looking down on people like that. You're acting the same way with our other mom friends, aren't you? They all feel very uncomfortable about it.
Then why don't you change yourself so that I won't complain? It's also strange that you don't want me to complain when you haven't made any effort.
Then, have you made any effort? I'm sure your husband is a great guy who started his own company and made it that big, but that's because he worked hard and you don't do anything.
My amazing trait is that I was able to marry such a husband. A husband with high specs would be a good match for a wife with high specs after all. I made an effort to become more beautiful than anyone else in order to marry a rich, handsome man. And of course, I was able to go to a good college.
Isn't it because of your parents' help that you were able to do that? I don't think it was your own effort.
You're being rude. Julie, you have a bit of a cocky attitude towards me. I think you'd better watch your language.
I'm sorry if I've made you feel uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, can you tell your bottom-feeding mother something for me?
Don't call her that. So, what do you want me to tell her?
Don't ever show your face in front of me again.
I can't do that. She works for the company too. If you don't like her so much, why don't you quit the company? Your husband runs a company and makes a lot of money, so why bother working at all?
I've always dreamed of being a receptionist at a big company. Sure, his company is big, but it's much smaller than the one I'm working for now, and I want to keep working for this company.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Huh? Why are you glad?
Anyway, you shouldn't do anything that would upset my mother if you want to keep working for this company.
Would you please stop saying weird things like that? We don't need a bottom-feeding old cleaning lady at the company. I don't think your mother is suited to work as a janitor at one of our companies, but at a much crappier one. She looks like a pauper.
That's enough. I won't forgive you if you speak ill of my mother.
Why don't you just go ahead and get mad? In the meantime, make sure your mother knows not to show her face in front of me.
A few days later.
Hey, did you talk to the old lady?
Old lady? Are you talking about my mother?
She was cleaning when I went to use the bathroom. I was so disgusted, I gave her the gift of punishment.
What? What did you do?
I dumped sewer water on her. I get nauseous when I see bottom drawer cleaners. Educate her so that she will never appear in front of me again. Understand?
Your husband's company is over.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I'm almost certain you'll be fired, but if you keep this up, your husband's company will be in jeopardy.
Fired? You can't be fired for throwing water on an old lady.
You don't know anything about my mother, do you?
She's just a janitor. I don't think it's any different when you throw water on a lowly janitor.
She's not just a janitor. She's the wife of the president of the company you work for.
You're lying. If you're going to lie, why not tell a more realistic lie? Do you expect me to believe that?
What good would it do to me to lie like that? It's true that my mother is the wife of the president of the company. And by the way, my father is the president of that company.
That's a lie too, right?
If you think I'm lying, would you like to see a picture of our family together? Even if you don't know much about the company, you at least know what the president looks like.
I know who he is. So the company I work for is run by your parents?
That's right. By the way, I'm the next in line to be president of the company.
What? You are? How is it possible for you, a woman, to be the president?
I think it's not unusual for a woman to be president in this day and age.
But I've never seen you in or out of the office.
Right now, I mainly work from home. My father taught me how to run a business.
I had no idea. Why didn't you ever tell me?
I didn't think it was necessary to tell you because you can easily find out that my family owns the company by looking it up.
I've been with this company for less than a year, so I didn't know. Besides, I work at the front desk most of the time.
On the other hand, if you've been with the company for a year, you'd probably noticed. Didn't you check the president's name or something before you joined the company?
I didn't care about anything as long as I worked for this company. I didn't check the boss's name. Besides, I'm a temporary employee, not a full-time one, so there's no need for me to know their name.
I don't care if you're a temp or not. You still work for the company, so it's common sense to at least remember the president's name, isn't it?
I'm sorry about that. I'll remember it from now on.
I'll make sure there's no more future for you. And I think you should be prepared for your husband's company.
Wait a minute. I can understand if I'm punished in some way, but my husband's company has nothing to do with it.
I knew you didn't know anything about this company. Didn't your husband tell you anything?
What are you talking about? I rarely talk about work with my husband.
His company's biggest client is our company.
Really?
Even you know what would happen if we stopped doing business with them, right?
Don't tell me you're planning to stop doing business with us.
My father has the authority now, so I have no say in the matter. I don't even know if my mother told him what you did to her in the first place. But knowing my father, if what you did to my mother comes to light, I'm sure he'll call off the deal.
I don't want that. If the company goes under, I won't be able to live the celebrity life like I live now.
Is that what you're worried about?
It's important to me. Hey, can I get your mother's contact info?
Why?
I want to apologize in person, and I also wanted to ask her to keep quiet about the incident.
I checked with my mom. She didn't say anything to my dad.
Is that so? That's good.
But she's angry and said that what you did is unforgivable. What you did was an insult not only to my mother, but also to the other cleaning staff.
If there's a fine or something, I'll pay it. But please, don't fire me.
That's for my father, the president, to decide.
Are you planning to tell him?
My mother doesn't know what to do, but if she doesn't, I'll talk to my father.
Stop it. We're friends, right?
I don't want to be friends with someone who insults my family.
I didn't think your mother was the boss's wife. If I had known, I wouldn't have poured dirty water on her.
The way you said that, it sounds like you'd be okay with doing it if she wasn't the president's wife.
I mean, a janitor is not a job that we even need in the first place.
That's not true. If there was no janitor in the company, there would be no one to take out the trash, no one to clean the desks, no one to clean the toilets. The cleaners keep the company clean and make our lives easier. We should not forget to thank them for that.
But why was your mother working as a janitor? Isn't it strange when she's the wife of the president?
First of all, my mother wanted the employees to feel good about their jobs. The other reason was that they were short on janitors and my mother would help out and clean with them. I used to help her sometimes, but I don't think you knew that.
I didn't know that. Hey, you haven't told the president about me yet, have you?
He's still at work, but I'm going to tell him after work.
Please, I'm sorry about what happened. Can you just let it go? I don't want you to tell him about this.
I can't do that. Even if my mother forgives you, I can't forgive you.
Don't say that.
Well then, I'm sure you'll get some kind of report from HR in a little while, so look forward to it.
Oh no.
The next day,
When I came to work today, I was turned away saying rude employees like you don't have to come. You told the president, didn't you?
of course I did. My father gets very passionate when it comes to family matters, so I guess he couldn't forgive you for pouring water on my mother.
But firing me just for that is a bit much.
Well, if you had only thrown water on my mother, I suppose you could have been suspended.
What do you mean? Are you saying there were other reasons?
Yes, you were known for delegating troublesome tasks to female employees younger than yourself, changing your attitude depending on the client, and being disrespectful. I heard there were a few complaints to HR.
So I was going to get some kind of punishment either way?
That's right. Of course, I've spoken to your husband about your attitude at the company.
So what happened with this company? You haven't stopped doing business with him, have you?
My father was saying that we would stop doing business immediately, but your husband came to him personally, got down on his knees, and apologized, so they decided to continue doing business with him.
Good. This means that my husband's company won't go under anymore.
It doesn't change the fact that it almost went out of business because of you, though.
At any rate, thank you very much. I didn't know how I would live if the company went under.
What are you going to do now?
Well, since I got fired from the company, I'm going to be a housewife for a while. I like being a receptionist, so maybe I'll start looking for a new job.
What? But it sounds like your husband is thinking of leaving you.
Leaving? That's not what I heard. Yes, he said he didn't want to see me anymore and took the kids and left yesterday, but he didn't say he was divorcing me.
Oh, did I say something I shouldn't have? I'm sorry. Forget I said that.
How could I forget? Did he really say he was leaving me?
I wasn't there, so I don't know what really happened. My father just said that your husband is getting a divorce.
I don't want a divorce. I've worked so hard to become the president's wife. I definitely don't want to be stripped of the position.
I don't need you telling me your problems. I think you should talk to your husband first.
That's true. I'm scared, but I'll call him.
The next day,
My husband told me he was divorcing me.
Have you been able to talk to him about everything?
He told me to come to my parents-in-law's house to talk, so I went there. Then he confronted me with the divorce papers and he made me sign them. Of course, I argued that I didn't want a divorce, but I couldn't say anything to his parents.
Who gets custody of the child?
I wanted to have custody, but they said they couldn't trust me with my son. My son even said he wants to be with my husband and not me.
If your son says he wants to be with your husband, then it's going to be hard to get custody.
I don't have any savings and I've been caught spending my husband's money without his permission, so I'll have to pay him back when we get divorced.
But you were working, so you could buy what you wanted, right?
I couldn't afford everything I wanted on my own salary. I was desperate to play the celebrity mom.
You didn't have to spend your husband's money to play the part, did you?
I'm the wife of a president, remember? If I didn't act like a president's wife, my husband would be embarrassed and it wouldn't look good.
I don't think your husband wanted you to act like a celebrity mom to make him look good. If he had wanted that, he wouldn't have divorced you.
What am I supposed to do now? I have signed the divorce papers. My parents don't seem to want to help me, saying it's my fault this happened to me.
You can't change the outcome, so you'll just have to live on your own.
But I lost my job. I can't even get an apartment without a job.
In that case, I can help you find a job.
You'll let me work again?
If you don't mind the work.
Really? I love being a receptionist, so I'd be happy to do it again. Thank you very much.
No one said anything about being a receptionist. You can't go back to being a receptionist after causing too much trouble.
What job then?
There's an opening on the janitorial staff and they're willing to hire you as a janitor without an interview. And my mother says she's willing to mentor you.
I don't want to work as a janitor. And I don't know how I could face your mother again.
I knew you'd say that.
If I can't get a receptionist job, how about an office job, or maybe a secretary?
We're not looking for office secretaries. The only openings right now are for janitors, so if you're looking for something else, you'll have to go to another company. I doubt you'll find one right away in this day and age.
No way.
Well, now that you and your husband are getting divorced, I'm going to block your number too.
Did some of my other mom friends block me too?
Yes. When I told them about you spraying water on my mother, they all said they didn't want anything to do with such an insane person.
No wonder why no one was texting me back.
You're going to have a hard time now that you have no one left to listen to you.
I don't want that. Please don't block me. My family has given up on me. My parents have almost cut me off, and my mom friends have cut me off. Who am I going to talk to now? I can't stand the thought of having no one to turn to.
You created the situation, didn't you? It's no use feeling sorry for yourself. You'll have to change your behavior next time. Well then, I'm sure you'll have a lot of hard time ahead of you, but good luck. Goodbye.
Wait a minute, please, don't block me.
After this line, I blocked Hannah. Since then, I have had nothing to do with her. After that, she officially divorced her husband and moved out of town. She managed to find a part-time job and is now living alone in a shabby apartment. In the end, Hannah didn't get the job she had hoped for and started working as a janitor for some company. She seemed to be fulfilling her duties even though her seniors at work always yell at her. I hope this is an opportunity to change your biased way of thinking for the better.